Well, hello, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back. Jiu-Jitsu 2000 here today. I'm back. I hope you guys are doing fantastic out there. In this video today, we're going to take a look at another offering from Vevor. This is a 3500 watt Pure Sine Wave 12 volt inverter. Let's take a look. I am very excited about this inverter, and I want to say thank you to Vevor for sending this out for review. This is something that I think is going to be a very good fit for my channel. First thing that we see here, 50 amp fuses, about 8 of them there, so that's cool. We got some silica gel. We have a cable, and this is for connecting the remote switch, which is right here. So you can turn on and off the power inverter from this switch. Pretty cool. You just plug the cord there. Looks like an old telephone cord. Plug that in the back, and then you mount this to whatever. There it is, right side up, and you can turn this thing on and off using this switch. So the dimensions of this remote is 3.74 inches wide, or 9.5 centimeters. And then the depth is 2.76 inches or 7 centimeters. And then the thickness is 0.98 of an inch or 9.5 centimeters. So that's how tall it is. Very cool that they include that with the power inverter. Now here's a look at the owner's manual. We'll take a brief look at that. So feel free to pause your screen if you want to read this information. I will do it one page at a time. There's a page showing all the specifications of the power inverter and how to use it. Instructions, installation information. There's some more installation information, some troubleshooting info. There's a breakdown of the screen, the LCD screen that's on the power inverter. Right here is a look at the remote a little bit more info on the remote, how to plug it in, stuff like that. I'm going to show all this in the video today. And then of course on the back there's a packing list of what's in this box and some troubleshooting information. So the next thing that I'm going to pull out is the wires that come included with the power inverter. These are a positive and negative wire. They're 35 millimeters or 50 centimeters, and they're a foot, 1.64 feet long is what they are. They feel very solid, so we'll set those there. And then lastly, let's put this box here. Let's move this stuff out of the way. And we'll pull this inverter out. As you can see, it comes packaged very well from the factory there. Nice protection that they put it in. So here's a look at the top of the power inverter, Pure Sine Wave, 3500 watts continuous power, and it'll surge at 7,000 watts. That is fantastic. Right here on the front, you can see that there's 4 AC outlets. There's an on-off switch. This is the jack that you plug this into to plug in the remote. You have 2 LED indicators. There's also a USB port. That's a quick charge USB. I believe that's 5 volt 3 amps, so 18 watts I think. And then right here you have direct connections where you can wire this thing in directly. Here's the LCD screen. Looking at the side, there's nothing there. And then here on the back, it looks like this is a 120 millimeter fan. You have the positive terminal, the negative terminal, and then of course let's take a look at the bottom. 60 hertz frequency, 12 volt input, 110 volt output, Pure Sine Wave. On this screen, it'll show you the input voltage, the frequency, the output voltage, the battery power, the product power, the waveform, and also the working status. Now the LED indicators here, they allow you to see the inverter's working status. This remote control is an LCD remote control, and these wires here, they're 9 foot 8 inches long. So that's 3 meters of length that these wires are. I think that's pretty cool. And the connection type that they use for this, they call 6P6C. This inverter has many different protection systems. It's got overheat protection, overload protection. It has a temperature controlled fan, like we showed right here on the back. And this fan kicks on about 113 degrees Fahrenheit or 45 degrees centigrade. This sine wave inverter is ideal for equipment that needs clean alternating current power. Things like electronic devices, things like computers, medical equipment, gaming consoles, all those medical devices and things that need the cleanest power possible. That's what a sine wave inverter does. You can power home appliances with this, power tools, office things. You can power a refrigerator. 3,500 watts is a lot of power. That'll power a microwave, laptop, computer with ease. You could do a fan, a TV, a drone, charge your batteries, run an electric griddle or an electric grill, or you could run an evaporative cooler. There's just lots of things that you can power with a 3,500 watt inverter. It's fantastic. Now the specs of this unit, the input voltage, this unit will work anywhere from 9.5 volt DC all the way up to 15.5 volt DC. It does have a low voltage alarm that will sound at 10.5 volts DC. The low voltage shutdown will happen at 9.5 volts. It does have an over voltage shutdown, and that'll happen if your battery gets 15.5 volt DC or higher. It does have over temperature protection that will kick in if this thing senses a temperature of 176 degrees Fahrenheit or 80 degrees centigrade. It does have overload protection. It's got an alarm that will sound, and that'll happen if you're 125% overloaded. The net weight of this unit is 15 pounds or 6.8 kilograms. And the fan that we saw on the back, the operating noise of this fan is between 20 and 40 decibels, and this power inverter has an efficiency rating of 88%. That is fantastic. Now let's talk briefly about the dimensions of this unit. We are 13.78 inches long. That's 35 centimeters. We are 7.87 inches or 20 centimeters, and the height of this is 5.91 inches or 15 centimeters. The current retail price at the time of me filming this video for this sine wave inverter is about $281 and some change. Now, having a power inverter like this would be outstanding for camping applications, or maybe you're going to be traveling. Maybe you're a van lifer and you want to put this in your van, your travel trailer, your RV. I might put this in a tiny house someday. This is also good for power outages, if the grid goes down, if you have an emergency situation, or you could use this for just household use, just to create some residual power that you can use to run other devices that you don't want to take that strain and put it on the grid. You don't want to raise your costs, on your electric bill. Maybe you have a solar array and you want to set this thing up. You got a few batteries that are deep cycle. You can run this thing and save a lot of money on energy costs. Okay, let's go ahead and hook up these wires. So we're going to start by taking these little caps off, these protective caps. These are here to keep the wires from shorting out against each other. here I've got my lithium iron phosphate battery. I'm going to put the negative to the negative, and when I make the positive connection, be prepared for a spark. That spark is normal because when you connect the power to the power inverter, it charges the capacitors. Just try to make that connection as quick as possible. Usually what I like to do is I'll take the cable, so pay attention here, see if it sparks. There you go. Got the spark out of the way, and now we have our power inverter connected to the battery. Now on the display you have a lot of things here. You've got the input voltage, you have the frequency of 60 Hertz, you have the output voltage, you also have the battery power, you have the working status, you have the waveform, and lastly you have the outgoing wattage that you're using. So it's very nice, and it's a very easy to read display. So now that we know what the display shows, and we know that we can turn the power off and on right here to turn this unit on manually, let's talk about this remote. So this remote is very handy. It gives us the option to turn this unit on and off remotely. To install this, we're going to turn the unit off. We're going to take our telephone cord, for the lack of a better description, and we're going to plug it into the back of the remote, and then we're also going to plug it in right here on the inverter. Okay, you see that the inverter powers up, and if I want to turn it off, I just push this power button on the remote. So it's a very easy way to turn the power on and off using the remote. So you can see the battery status. It'll also tell you that you have power. It'll give you the battery voltage, and this is really nice. It gives you that option to remotely turn this on and off. That's good because if you hide this down in an area or something, you can run the wire maybe through the wall or whatever you need to do and turn it on and off without having to get down into the unit each and every time. So having this remote is very nice. It's a good option to have, and I like that it gives you in real time the voltage of the battery. So we want to charge our phone or our peripherals, we can plug into this USB, and then if I plug in my phone, it should begin charging. Doo-doo, there it goes. So charging has begun. It says fast charging, and it says what, 25 minutes until complete? Right there, fast charging. So that's fantastic. This is my Instant Pot, and when I pressure cook with this, it takes about 1,000 watts. So we can see that the thing powered up. Let's go ahead and push pressure cook, and we'll just let that go and see what happens. And I'm waiting to see the wattage here. There it's going to start, so we should see, yeah, there we go. 595 watts right now. 1126. So right now this is pulling 1126 watts, and this power inverter is working just fine. But I want to take this a step further, and I want to add a small pressure cooker as well. So I have the larger one, but I'm also going to plug in my smaller one. This small one takes about 750 watts. Let's start this small one. We're going to add another 700 watts or so. So we're just going to wait. Let's turn that so it's in position to pressurize. There we go, it started. So look at the wattage climb. 1389, 1966. Almost 2,000 watts. That's a lot of power coming out of this inverter, and the fan hasn't even kicked on yet. This thing isn't even warm. It's cool to the touch. 1966 is the wattage. I want to continue to add more because this is 3,500 watts continuous. So let's find something else that we can add to this system. 1957 is what it's showing right now. Plenty of power. I like this unit, but you can see that when we're drawing a really heavy draw, that the battery it goes down a little bit. But as soon as that draw ends, the battery actually comes back up. So we are at 1961 watts, and both of these pressure cookers simultaneously are running. That's fantastic. I'm gonna add a miter saw. I know that this all looks kind of crazy because it's all kind of cluttered on my bench, but you just have to trust me here. We're gonna plug this bad boy in and we're gonna see what happens here. Let's unlock. 1956. Now let's turn on the miter saw. Wow, so we got up to over 2,500 watts of draw. That is fantastic. And now that I turned the miter saw off, we're back down to 1952. So the pressure cookers are still working. This is very impressive. I know that that looks kind of funny having everything on my bench there, but I'm just showing you what this power inverter can do. The big pressure cooker just came up to pressure and the numbers have dropped. We are down to 807. So the little one is still coming up to pressure. And see, the timer just started. Let's see what happens. 1324 down to 807. And look at the battery. 12.3, 12.4. Remember, it got down to like 10.7 or something when I was running this saw. But when this comes up to pressure, I am gonna go out on a limb and think that these numbers here are gonna rise even more. So it's just a matter of time until that comes up to pressure. We'll watch these numbers, 807 right now. And then once these drop, I'll look at this again. The battery's at 12.4. So I like the way this thing is performing. It's working very well. Okay, as soon as I turned the camera off, this one came up to pressure. The wattage dropped down to 0, and look, the battery rose from 12.4 up to 13 volts. So the only time you'll see your battery draw is when you're pulling electricity pretty heavy. So after all that power that I drew, I'm feeling these cables, and they're a little bit warm to the touch, but not uncomfortable. Okay, right now I am out in the Chinook and you can hear the fan running. I'm going to go ahead and turn this unit off. So all the power is going to turn off. And I'm going to install this unit. I'm just going to set it right on top of that 2000 and we'll test it on this system and see how effective it is. Okay, I know this looks kind of crude, but this is for testing, so we'll go ahead and close this. Now we'll have the ability to turn the power on. So now we're powering the Chinook with this battery here, 13.1 volts. Now you can hear the fantastic fan revved up. So I want to test a couple of things now. Okay, so above my head we have the cooler. The 2000 watt Pure Sine Wave new POA inverter would not run this. It would run the fan, but when the compressor would kick in, it would fail. So let me go ahead and turn this on. I've got it on cool and the fan speed on automatic. Let's see what happens. So there's the fan. We can hear the fan running. So far so good. We're just gonna wait and see when the compressor kicks in if this thing's producing cold air and how good that's working. So far the fan's running. That's good. We'll wait, see if that compressor kicks in. If it runs this, I'll be really impressed because that 2000 couldn't. There's the compressor kicking in right now. I can hear it. Now I can feel cold air. Wow. So it's actually running this thing. That is fantastic. I feel cold air. So that means I can cool this Chinook off of the 400 watts of monocrystalline solar panels that I have on the roof. That air is cold. It's 88 degrees in here right now looking at the thermostat. I want to add one more thing to this test though. I want to see if it'll run the microwave at the same time. Let's take a look at that. So right now, there's the microwave. Let's put a minute on it. It's doing it, folks. It's running the cooler and the microwave at the same time. Those are the two largest draws that I have on this system. This refrigerator is also on electric right now, and it's running too. See, it's lit up, AC. Microwave is still running, and I have cool air coming out of the vents. That is wonderful. So this thing is doing a good job. Well, folks, my final thoughts on this Vevor 3500 watt Pure Sine Wave inverter. I give this thing 2 thumbs up. For me to be able to run my cooler and my microwave along with the refrigerator simultaneously in this Chinook, that exceeds my expectations. I didn't know if it would do it. To see my Nupoa 2000 watt unit not do it, and this one does, it's fantastic. I've got the remote right here. I've got my solar up here charging. So I'm able to be off the grid right now. This is fantastic. So folks, I want to say thank you for joining me today on this video. If you're interested in this power inverter, I will put a link in the description box down below. I want to ask you guys to thumb up this video before you go. And if you like this, please share it. And if you like the content that you're seeing on my channel, please hit that subscribe button and click all notifications. Until next time, I hope you guys have a beautiful day. We'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.